Andrew, you've been working on some of the task force here at the B20. What are some of the concerns about the digital economy and disruption that some of the other CEOs from Australia and around the world have been talking to you about?
Yeah, look, the specific task force I was on was involved in human capital around employment and education. And the issues were partly around disruption, technological change, what they meant for employment, particularly of low-skilled workers, and what could be done about it. And a big part of the answer was in education.
And in terms of the companies themselves, I mean, do they feel like their business is now at a time where it could be disrupted more than any other time in their histories?
Yeah, look, I think just partly as being involved here, and also just partly from the conversations I have generally, yeah, like I think people are recognising that change is a constant now and is very rapid, and some people perhaps better prepared than others for that.
Okay, and in terms of what people should be thinking about as they go into the workforce, what are some of the things that you see very clearly are being demanded by big companies? Oh,
look, as an individual going to the workforce, there's probably a few things. One is, skills are really valued, particularly that, people talk about STEM skills, science, technology, engineering and math skills are really valued. So if you've got those, you'll find a job more easily than other skills. But just generally, given the changing environment, I think adaptability is really important. Adaptability in terms of, just continued learning and making sure you're keeping yourself current and skilled, so that you can see new opportunities and take new opportunities when they come. But also in terms of being adaptable, given organisations are now facing constant change, those people that can deal with that change are doing better than those people that need to do things the same way they did last year always.
And what about organisations? Are organisations good at training people to be adaptable or encouraging adaptability in their workforce?
Some are, some aren't, and I think it's a key skill now. Those that do it well have an adaptable workforce and are able to adapt themselves. Those organisations that do it badly, the ones that are being left a bit behind.
Yeah. One of the big issues, of course, is the idea that technology and automation will take away a lot of the jobs that we do. We had Rogeri there from Xero. The accounting profession in terms of tax has been almost wiped out thanks to a couple of software packages. How at risk are many jobs in society by being replaced by technology?
Look, I think it's a considerable concern for Australia. It's got two things because of the high wages. It's got the automation, and the higher wages are, the more the automation makes sense. It's also obviously got people looking offshore sometimes to employ people because of the lower wages. So I think there's real concerns in Australia, and of course there's new jobs being created. But I think there are real concerns coming out of the task force I was involved in, that the amount of jobs being created won't be as large as the amount of jobs being lost. And so that's why recommendations to try to hopefully fill that gap are coming through.
So what kind of recommendations are there?
Oh, look, a lot comes down to education. So there's no doubt that the more people are educated, the more they are going to find it easier to find, particularly with the right skills, that there are mismatches at the same time as there's. I think the statistic that we saw was more than 200 million people out of jobs. 35% of employers say they can't find certain people. So there are mismatches. So education is part of that, and education also leads to people actually creating other jobs rather than being people that just take up a job.
And then finally, in terms of that other participation rate issue, one of that is the baby boomers all retiring. What did the task force look at in terms of how that population bulge will kind of stretch through society and what's on the other side?
Look, I don't think there were specific solutions for that so much. That's an issue that we need to deal with, and at one level, because we were talking at one level that actually eased the employment issue rather than exacerbating it, so it wasn't seen as a specific problem. But in terms of actually paying for the people out the other side, I think that's an economic issue that the governments do need to address.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Great.